언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water. 트래비.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
이건 기적이에요.
예.
지난 디펜딩 챔피언을 이게 어떻게 이런 일이?
70울산이 결승에 갑니다.
솔직히 이번 시즌 진짜 모른다라는 생각이 들어요. 고정관념 자체가 이렇게 없는 팀은 역대 없었어요.
변화무쌍함이 우리의 색깔이다.
모든 평가를 부셔버렸습니다. 갑자기 경기 내에서 진화하는 참 신선한 팀이고 이 로고 그대로 전략 질주하네요. 강한 질주! 이걸 러너웨이가 굉장히 여러 단계 업그레이드가 됐다. 이 태풍의 또 핵이 되어가고 있습니다. 그렇죠.
NC 폭시즈 첫 에이펙스만에 4강까지 갑니다.
에이펙스를 하면서 기량이 만개하고 있습니다.
이제는 좀 변수가 있는 팀이어서 만나기 껄끄럽다.
이변의 아이콘? 여기까지 올 줄은 상상도 못했거든요.
반전에 반전, 드라마 만들고 그럼 이번에도 쓸 것 같아요.
혹시 청출어람이란 말 알아요? 보여드릴게요.
이번 시즌은 한 끗 차이라고 하죠. 결승 무대는 한번 밟아보고 싶어요.
준우승도 해보고 16강 탈락도 해보고 다 해봤으니까 우승 한번 해보고 싶어요.
Overwatch Apex Season 4, energized by Hot 6. Semi-finals. Today's matchup, Runaway, NC Foxes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of Overwatch Apex Season 4. I am Achilles, joined at the desk by Wolf, and it is time to get down to brass tacks. We are into our final match days of this season, final semifinal here to determine who will be going up against GC Busan in the grand final. This 8 days from today.
That's right. Runaway coming tonight, the clear favorites. They had a much tougher run to the semifinals. You could say the same about GC Busan. They took the 4-0 just 3 days ago. And NC Foxes do not want to be forgotten as the Royal Roader team that did not make grand finals, the one that had the easy run to the round of 4. Tonight is their night to prove that they could be the second team, the second Royal Roading team in a grand finals.
Yeah, 2 teams coming up from Challenger in the grand final. An absolutely crazy storyline that we could see come to fruition here tonight. But that's if NC Foxes are able to take down Runaway. Season 2 runners-up from that grand final. Lost to Lunatic High. They want another go at it. They want to go the distance and this time close it out versus GC Busan at the end of the road. Still a ways to go. A best of 7 standing in the way of either of these teams from achieving that dream.
That's right. It's 4 seasoned veterans in Runaway. They had to play in that one promotion after season 1, but they have been in every season of Apex from 1 to 4 here. They will be in season 5, of course, as well, versus potential Royal Roaders and NC Foxes. And it's going to be a big challenge for this team to repeat the performance that we saw from GC Busan to knock out another finalist, because to be honest, GC Busan looks much more coordinated than what we've seen from NC Foxes thus far.
Yeah, they have been absolutely going on a tear. I mean, taking down Lunatic High 3-0, then 4-0 to qualify into the grand final. Absolutely insane, and not anything that you could have even remotely predicted from the start of the season. A team coming up from Challenger, auto-promoted because we didn't have the promotion tournament with the removal of the foreign teams. No one would have ever anticipated that sort of run from that team. NC Foxes now, though, it's their time to shine. It's their time to show that GC Busan is not alone. They're not the only Royal Roading team here in Apex Season 4.
That's right, and they've made massive improvements. We've seen Sasha, actually not just the one-trick Pharah on Control. He's played through the rest of the map types on the Genji, but he's still relegated to those heroes specifically. So we'll see what he plays tonight, if he starts tonight, and exactly what the game plan is going to be here for the NC Foxes. And remember, Runaway have shown us so many different styles throughout this season. It's hard to predict every single time they show up who's going to be playing what. But it feels like they've finally fine-tuned it. Their win over GC Busan, I think, erased a lot of the worries in my mind as to whether they can make this flexible style work going into round of 8 semis and now potentially those grand finals.
Yeah, we have to see what they're going to put together. We already know we know the roster. We'll unveil it to you guys in just a little bit here. But even though we know the roster, we're still not sure who's going to be playing what. There's always that chance that we see Haksal go back over onto the Lucio. We did see him stick with the Genji all the way through that match versus GC Busan. Didn't really move off of that on any map, so maybe we get some of that good, nice Haksal Genji coming through. But in case you missed it, guys, Cloud9 Kongdu knocked out of the tournament. Still in contention, though, for that 3rd and 4th place match that'll be coming up next week, but cannot make it to that grand final as they got taken down by GC Busan.
That's right, and they will be playing on Sunday in the Seoul Cup along with Lunatic High, where they'll be unveiling new members for the Seoul team, as well as 2 teams from China. So if you didn't know about that Seoul Cup that is happening on Sunday, do check it out. Myself and Atlas will bring coverage. But as mentioned already in our first match of the semifinals, we're moving to a best-of-7 format. So it'll be best-of-7s today and, of course, on the finals next week. That means that the format has changed. Instead of map 5 being the hybrid map, it repeats Assault Escort. So if we go the distance, teams will have to be prepared for potentially 2 hybrid maps, 2 Assault maps, and 2 Escort maps. So if you're looking for that second hybrid win, you're not going to get it until you go to set number 7.
Yeah, so, just kind of have to allocate your practice time in case you get to those later stages. And that kind of actually comes up with a decent question. How do you go about preparing for this best of 7? Do you focus on those first 4 map types, really ingrain in, go for the map picks that you want, and then hope to God that you don't have to go to another Escort or another Assault map? Or do you just try to go for the stretch of it all and practice literally everything?
It's tough, because even if you have maps prepared, if you do well, you'll be playing on your opponent's map pick. For me, and I think what GC Busan prepared a lot, is to prepare for map picks of your opponent. If you get the ball rolling, you will have the advantage of being able to play on your opponent's maps that you prepared for, and even if you fall behind, then you have the opportunity going back to your comfort map pick. So I think the strength of preparing for your opponent's map types in a best-of-7 like this is so important.
I see. Of course, Runaway fans very heavily populating the audience here today. NC Fox is still building up that fan base as they've made this incredible run throughout the tournament. But Runaway have had that fan base since Season 2. They've been dominating the market alongside the likes of Lunatic High and Kongdu, now Cloud9 Kongdu, here in Korea. And of course, a little shout out there and love for the Korean casters who are over to our right. We don't have any banners though, Wolf. I'm a little bit salty about that.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some eventually. I got some in Heroes back when we had that hero on the 14th floor. Maybe one day. But very exciting matchup tonight, and I think that if NC Foxes win, it'll be a bigger surprise than the 4-0 for GC Busan. Like, they come in massive underdogs. We do have to mention, of course, as you can see the RX Foxes sign down there.
Yeah.
NC Foxes has officially rebranded to RX Foxes, but will not be using that branding tonight. So we'll still be calling them the NC Foxes, at least for the semifinals.
That is
fantastic.
That is
there.
absolutely fantastic. The only thing, the only problem that I have is that they didn't include the new jerseys. It's the old grandma sweaters. Runaway, they got those new jerseys. They're popping off in the booth right now, Wolf. So this artist has got to, he has to do a little bit of editing there to that drawing to make it 100%.
That sign says "Runaway to the finals," literally as in to flee your way to the finals. And
that was their whole shtick back in Season 2, was that they were just kind of going to run into the final here in the intro. They're sprinting, like their logo, they're sprinting all the way through to that grand finish. And they are so close. They are on the cusp of it here. They just need to close out this match. And given their up and down performance, they're kind of shuffling around with who's playing what. I don't know if this is going to be a clean 4-0 here for Runaway. NC Foxes might be able to pick up some maps. I think taking the series is going to be a bit of a stretch, and we'll have to see how much preparation they've got put into this series coming in to see if they can actually take them down.
We're going to take a look at this video, though, guys. The Trash Talk interview. Check it out.
Should have some spicy stuff.
얼떨떨해요. 저희 웬만한 팀들이 저희를 좀 만나기 껄끄러워하거든요, 요즘. 저희는 달라진 게 없는데 왜 다 나가 떨어지셨는지를 잘 모르겠어요.
NC 폭시즈가 4강의 세 번째 팀으로 결정됩니다.
온몸에 전율이 흐르는 이 한마디로 끝낼 수 있을 것 같아요. 부스 안에서도 실화냐 하고 그랬어요. 이변의 아이콘? 그렇게 생각할 수도 있을 것 같아요, 다른 팀이. 런어웨이가 뭐 아니면 도라는 소리를 많이 듣는데 킬러진이 조금 문제라고 생각해요, 저는. 범퍼 선수도 루시오를 하는 분이 아니고 다 뭐 돌려 쓰는데 다 못하던데 족보가 없는 것 같아요.
저가 이제 4대로 루시우를 맡고 있는데 2부에서 간신히 올라온 팀이잖아요. 무슨 조합을 써도 저희 팀에 있는 겐트에는 대응을 할 수가 없을 거예요, 아마. 1부의 맛을 철저하게 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
학살 선수 겐지를 봉인시키고 콕스 선수가 막 맥클이나 솔저 들고 오게 하는 게 목표예요. 콕스 선수가 딜러로 나오면은 그냥 거의 꽁승이라고 봐도 될 것 같은데. 에임만 믿고 하시는데 저는 다 돼가지고 제가 더 잘할 것 같아요. 맨날 젠야타 자기가 1위라고 하시는데 허황 컨셉이신가?
요 근래 풀세트 경기만 하고 있는데 오히려 부스 안에서도 더 긴장되고 재밌어서 저는 좋아요. 상대팀 부스를 보면서 멘탈을 깨지는 걸 보는 게 짜릿해요. 콕스 형이 화내려나?
저희가 실전 4승은 처음이라서 좀 풀세트 가면 힘들 것 같으니까 빠르게 4대0으로 이기고 결승 가겠습니다. 4대0
풀세트.
4대0
풀세트.
4대0 오케이, 땡큐!
Runaway.
근데 학살이 죽기는 했어요. 2대1. 죽음의 꽃이 발동되면서 하나를 잡아내긴 했습니다만. 네. 부족. 백스명. 됐고. 오, 2번 다 했어요.
Bumper.
카메라 그 뒤쪽. 와! 학살쇼. 이야, 진짜 오랜만에 학살이 에이펙스 무대에서 소위 하드캐리하는 그런 모습이 지금 나오는데.
Haksal.
수비가 되고 힐맨가 떨어지면 할 거 다 했죠. 잘 먹고. 이거 한다. 약간 욕심이었어요. 이게 변수일 수 있을까요? 당당당.
Cox.
내가 빠지고. 네. 하나 벌수 있다, 벌수 있다, 벌수까지 먹고 또 못하고 세번 연속 죽었죠. 또 부차까지 뭉쳐 있는데 뭉치면
Stitch.
키즈의 버티기까지 많이 채웠어요. 3.79
TZ.
비비기가 좀 유지되고 저기
Janu. Kaiser. Runner. Runaway.
Well, there you go. Some nice little banter back and forth there between the players. NC Fox is very confidently saying they're going to be looking for a 4-0 here today against the run of play, against the expectations of the analysts, of the fans watching from home and here in the studio. And that would be one hell of an upset and one hell of a wave of momentum to ride into that grand final.
Well, let's talk about the starting lineup tonight. Kaiser and Runner will be on the bench. There should be no surprise for anyone who's been following this season from start to finish. Kaiser has not been fielded a single time. Runner only once, lowest KDA in the league. But he took a step out, and it's been a lot of flexibility from this team since the round of 8 especially. But Haksal is listed tonight as DPS. Stitch is listed as DPS. Cox, Bumper, and Janu will be flexing. Janu listed as main support, so you have to imagine he'll be on the Lucio tonight. So seems to be we're going back to the Haksal Genji play that was so famous realistically since promotions for Season 2, throughout Season 2 and 3, and then in Season 4 when he's on the Genji, which hasn't been all the time. I think this is the best roster possible this team could run, and also the best positions possible for the players. So I think this roster, this lineup, is their best chance of picking up a title here in Season 4.
So a bit of a surprise look there on Stitch's face when Runner came over. Was afraid that he was going to get hit in the face again, but relieved that he was in fact just being encouraged to get into this game and pop off on that Tracer yet again. To wait a little bit longer to see if he can deliver those pulse bombs into the ranks of NC Foxes. Because first, we have to go ahead and introduce them. So let's go ahead and take a look at the team.
NC Foxes.
올라와야 되고요. 왔어요? 야, 요거는
Neko.
힘을 들고 나온 플래시 박스.
던졌기 때문에 이거 못 나옵니다. 자폭 타이밍 너무 좋았어요.
일단 제거.
얘는 나왔고요. 이 타이밍은 맞춰야 되는데. 아까 던져놓고.
Rhea.
이러면
아프지요.
쳤죠. 그래도
자, 소리방법까지 썼는데요. 자, 초월로.
네, 초월 잡고
버팁니다.
Hyuk.
끊어질 수밖에 없어요. 자, 용감 사신. 와! 깔끔하게 하나씩 떨어집니다. 용감 하나.
근데 사신이 이거
용감. 자, 사신.
마음껏 탈진할 수 있죠. 여기서는 내려오는 거.
Sashin.
이스타 어떻게 대응해야 될지 그 카드를 계속 꺼내고 있어요.
그렇죠. 이런 식으로 계속 걸어야죠. NC가
먼저 끊으면 자, 서민 지원자와 다보 이키노.
이렇게 또 이렇게 망할 때가 많다는 거죠.
Ikino.
폭스미에
꺼낸 이유가 있어요.
맥락하게 뒤쪽에 많이 던져놓고
그렇죠.
서민수.
근데 엑스포시도 지금 있는 상황이라서 반반 싸움을 만들어준다라고 하면 시간 잘 끌 수 있는 거고요. 여기서
Pumpo. NC Foxes.
There you go, the underdogs of this story looking to qualify for their first grand final. I mean, this is their first semifinal, their first best of 7 that this team is going to be playing, Wolf.
That's right. Now, the lineup for this team is more puzzling than you would have expected. Rhea will be on the bench. Sominsu and Sashin, for the first time, will both be in play. But Kino and Sash will be listed as DPS, which means Sominsu, if they're going to be running the Diva, which is very much still meta, we're still on the pre-Mercy change patch, I think he's going to be playing the Diva here. We'll see exactly what they want to run, but the big question is, if they flip it around a little bit here, who will their dedicated Tracer player be is a big question. And against the team that's logo is a dashing Tracer who's basically the most consistent player this season has been Stitch on that Tracer. It's a bit concerning, it's a bit alarming when protection against Stitch's burst, protection against his pulse bombs will need to be the Diva player, and their main Diva player, Rhea, is on the bench. Pumple has dabbed into the Diva just on one single map. He has played it before, but I'm a little bit concerned about this starting lineup. They've had a long time to prepare for this, but still, an unusual lineup coming into this first map.
I'm not sure if we're allowed to say that the Runaway logo is a dashing Tracer. I think it's copyrighted by the Overwatch League, so we'll dodge around that. It's a person. It's a dashing someone.
Very close resemblance to a Tracer.
It's her cousin.
Certainly.
But here we go. Ilios going to be the first map of this best of 7 series. I hope you guys have your drinks, you have your snacks. We'll have a couple ad breaks for you to use the bathroom, but this could be one hell of a bumpy ride, so I hope you guys are ready to get strapped in and just let your eyes absorb this final semi-match we have between these two teams.
Sashin, historically, minus his match that they played in the final match of the round of 8 against Luxury Watch Red, has been essentially a one-trick. Vara has played a little bit of the Genji again. We have to mention his Genji play being incredible, but I think this is a great starting map for the NC Fox's playstyle. They can use the Vara, and as Neko mentioned, he wants to see Cox on that long-range hit scan, and this is where we're going to see for certain that long-range hit scan play by Cox.
All right, well, Ilios, great way to kick things off. So let's go ahead, waste no more time, and dive straight into this series. Ilios to kick it off, best of 7, Runaway versus NC Fox's winner advances into the grand final to play against GC Busan to try to claim the title of Apex Season 4 champion. Let's get it started.
I get it.
So as you might expect, Runaway going to be commanding this sold-out audience. Just a few bare seats here that are empty, but for the most part, these are just packed in here, and people are still streaming into the arena as we speak.
The line to grab tickets from the kiosk was so long that they've probably been here for an hour waiting just to get the ticket itself physically in order to walk up to their seats.
I mean, we had people here when you and I arrived at 5 p.m. It's now 7:20, and people are still getting ready to walk in. And look at this. We have a bit of a surprise from the side of the NC Foxes.
Okay.
Kino running the Roadhog.
We have seen Kino's Roadhog before in the past, and he was more meta. And he was on Flash Lux, of course, but Kino is going to be playing the Roadhog here, which we've really only seen played by players like Taimu in contenders. And again, I mentioned this last week, it's been seen in China a little bit, but so far not really finding any success with it, unfortunately, despite the buffs to the hero.
Yeah, certainly not. He's going to go down before he can even reach 10% ultimate accrued there. So that's just going to be a very swift flip going over to the side of Runaway as they get that initial cap coming through. Did lose out onto Cox. Neko was able to take him down, building up for that first EMP, but otherwise Runaway going to have the initial control of this game.
So Neko's going to be running the Sombra here, and we've seen Sombra Widowmaker do wonders together used in conjunction because you remove the mobility for heroes, the snipes come through. We'll see if they can make it happen here. EMP is still a ways away.
Stitch though here with this trademark Tracer, going to be dashing around, goes low, has to force out the recall, gets all that HP back. In the meantime, NC Foxes have come up with a fair few kills for themselves. As Stitch tries to bring it back, but Kino here swapping over to that Widowmaker, comes up with a shot, takes him down, is trying to lead over to that initial flip here for the side of the NC Foxes, and seems like he will be able to get it.
Very well played. Not so much success on the Hog, but switching over to this Widowmaker, this has really been Widow's most successful map in Apex history, and it's a great way to shut down high mobility heroes. It's funny to say that, but if you could predict a recall, if you could predict a dash, that's when the Widowmaker is going to be able to pick off those DPS players. Once the tank is gone, it becomes a lot easier, as you guys just saw.
Stitch looking to take down some Minsu. Force out the recall, gets his HP back as well. Pulse Bomb going to get thrown out there, not eaten by the Diva, but also not going to be finding any stick, not going to be finding any damage. Now it's going to be the investment over onto that sound barrier from the side of Runaway as Hogsall draws out the Dragon Blade. Going to be looking to cut them down, but the sound barrier answers from the side of the NC Foxes, and so Minsu goes forward, takes down Hogsall. As as they find the first kill of the fight. Now the Transcendence invested by Cox as they desperately try to get this flip. They're so close, but just have not been able to get it yet. It seems like Foxes are going to be able to force them back, at least for the moment. Now the EMP coming down, pop out there onto the mech, coming through. And it seems like NC Foxes will be able to maintain control.
Yeah, a lot of ults used here for Runaway as well. This is a bit unfortunate. We're post 50% here now for the Foxes, and Sashin has been pretty impressive on this D, but don't expect him to be the one to flex over to that hero, so that's going to be his role, it looks like, at least initially here, before potential subs of Rhea. Kino with full control here, no harassment, no one's touching him, and uh-oh, Stitchmon going to have to recall already. And this means that Widow has full control right now.
Someone's just looking to duke this out. But a mid-range fight goes low, so just dash down onto that low ground to get healed up. In the meantime, Kino comes up with a kill onto Bumper. Great way to deny the push in. It's going to be under threat, however. Goes up with the grapple hook, but has to drop right back down, and a very angry Monkey will smack him into the ground. So Tizzy comes up with that kill, but they need so much more if they want to try to take this point back over. Coxes find Pumple, but so far Runaway have not been getting anything done here onto the point, and it's nearly 95% for NC Foxes.
Hey, they should get the flip here. They want to hold on to as many ults as possible, especially Transcendence. Cox wants to hold that here. But NC Foxes doesn't have very many initiation ultimates anymore. They use Primal Rage, which is the most unfortunate part of that exchange. Primal Rage for Primal Rage is good for Runaway here because they have an ult advantage. Remember, they're running this without Transcendence. This is an EMP-based comp. Neko does have that available now. All they need is one flip, but that's basically their only initiation here, minus a pick from Kino, which will be very difficult with the defensive position here for Runaway.
Had a bit of a sightline there on a Cox, but he's playing it safe. Goes back around the corner, keeps himself alive. In the meantime, Runaway want to take a fight over to the side of the Foxes. Hoxel draws at the blade, but this time it's already going to be working out so much better as he cuts down Neko, but it's only the one kill to be had, so certainly not the greatest use that we could have seen from the side of Runaway with a double ultimate investment there. But they're still going to be looking to maintain control as they encroach on 75%. But Cox, he goes down to start off the fight. The sound barrier not there to try to keep him alive in this one, and now the EMP gets dropped in, denying some of that shielding coming through, and they'll find the kill in onto Tizzy and Stitch. NC Foxes want to get that retake. They want to just go ahead and close out Ruins.
Really well-timed EMP there after most of the shields had faded. They're trying to chase down these last remaining targets. They're trying to buy time here. Someone's holding onto the pulse. He's made the switch here.
That's the flip. It's ticking down here for the overtime. Runaway have to get back in. Try to get the swap back over. Hoxall going to go down. He is still a ways away from a Dragon Blade to try to turn this fight around. Sominsu dashing forward. Throws out the pulse bomb. Doesn't find the stick. Doesn't find the kill. And now Runaway are trading back, at least going a bit of a +1 above NC Foxes, looking for a little bit more. Tizzy yet again gets rid of Kino, but they're still into overtime. They still need this flip, and NC Foxes are just going to try to keep streaming back in to keep this in contention.
We do have that Primal Rage wearing off now for Pumple. This could be a flip now on the side of Runaway. Cox nearing that EMP. It won them the last fight. He's going to have to do it again here. No other real tools. Kino making the switch to Soldier. Maybe gonna have to shoot fish in a barrel once that EMP goes off.
Yeah, double 99 here for both teams. Runaway with the upper hand at the moment as they are in control. They take down Neko, get the pop out there onto Sasson, and get rid of Pumple as well. No tank line available for the NC Foxes, which means Hoxall draws out the Dragon Blade yet again, finds 2 kills, doesn't even need to cut them down, just dashes his way to success. And a hard-fought one, but Runaway are able to take the first round of Ilios as they win out on Ruins.
So big takeaways in terms of compositions here. We're seeing Sashin play his first career Diva. Sominsu playing the Tracer here instead. And now it's going to be, this kind of wonky comp as well, where Janu, even though he's listed officially as support today, is playing the Diva. So lots of switches here. Bumper on the Lucio. But I think the key factors are Hoxall on the Genji. That's the big one here. And Kino on range DPS will be the Soldier. And remember, many people will sing the tale of why Lunatic Kai's defeat was so one-sided. It was because they were unable to flex away from the Tracer Genji style. Long-range hit scan ripped them apart. And we'll see if NC Foxes can change things now as they're running the Soldier as we move to more normal maps.
He's going to be swapping it out, and actually surprised that we are not seeing the Pharmacy comp to start things off here on the well. Perhaps we would see that from the side of the NC Foxes. Runaway not so much as they don't particularly like that mode of play, but it seems like they might not need it. They already go forward. They find Neko, but just like that, NC Foxes trades back, comes up with 2 kills to pop out there onto the mech as well for Janu, so might as well be dead, but actually finds a returning blast there into the face of Sominsu to take him down. Point going to be under contention. No gap coming through yet, but Runaway, they want to try to stay in this one. Janu is kiting his way back. Seems seems like they will just go ahead and concede this over to the Foxes to start things off.
Very well played there, though, by Janu to buy some more time, get that kill. Meant that NC Foxes could be at 15% right now, but they're at just 5. And let's see if Haksal can build up for a better Dragon Blade. I mean, he's very low in terms of ult percent right now. That's what their comp is based upon, is killing the long-range hit scan with the Dragon Blade.
The sound barrier out from the NC Foxes as they look to maintain control. Haksal gets himself out of dodge, comes back around from the flank, just firing away with the Shurikens, trying to build up for that Dragon Blade so he can turn a fight around. So far, still going to be a little ways away, just 75% accrued. Nice hit goes through. Just bump him up, cut a bit, but now he's under threat by that Primal Raged Winston. Pumple will find him in the end, so looking for another target, jumping into the thick of the members here of Runaway. Gets a couple smacks in. Otherwise, not going to be finding too many kills.
Runaway has a lot of tools to retake this. They're going to use Transcendence first. Haksal about to have that Dragon Blade. Already met with Neko's Transcendence, but Jano picking up a double really opens up the field here.
Yeah, they got rid of Sasson. Now they throw down that sound barrier on the side of Runaway. Only found 2 members, one of them being Cox, but he gets taken out by the pulse bomb and exchange there. And Stitch also gets rid of one of the tanks, eliminating Pumple from the fight. We will have the flip. The ultimates being invested from the side of Runaway is enough for NC Foxes to feel the pressure, to kite back around the corner. They will hand this one over. They already got a pretty good amount accrued there with 57%.
Yeah. You know, Runaway's playstyle versus what we've seen from Lunatic High in the past, Haksal is more famous for building quick Dragon Blades, who are used more famous for having perfect Dragon Blades with support coordination. Didn't have the support coordination there. It was actually Tizzy who picked up the double, who actually got them that flip. Haksal spent most of the time on that Dragon Blade running for safety. But regardless, a lot of ults used on the side of Runaway here. They will have time to rebuild them as they approach 57%. A very even game here at the moment.
Yeah, it's been very back and forth with the kills. We'll see how long they can maintain control over this point. They would love to just ride it all the way into 100%, but given how Ruins went, I don't think that's going to be a very likely scenario here. Haksal going in deep, dashes his way out to safety. He's using the barrier there, trying to keep himself alive and in the fight, keep that harass coming through, but oh wow, Sasson throws down the self-destruct, finds Stitch and Tizzy. Absolutely abysmal there from the side of Runaway, not able to get out of range of that self-destruct. It's thrown down inside of a building with a pillar.
Yeah, very sloppy play there actually in terms of reaction time. Just must have been trying to focus shot call something else. So that's the flip for Foxes, taking the lead here also in ult economy. Double support ultimates and the Dragon Blade for Runaway are about to be open. Remember, when you're running this dive comp with the Genji, that trio of ultimates is the one you want to watch. That's going to be how they get those backline picks to get the flip. We'll see if the coordination can be better this time, because last time Haksal really didn't accomplish much, despite the fact that they got the flip.
Oh, Pulse Bomb coming down there, gets rid of Pumple, start things off. He was getting nearer towards that Primal Rage, so a good elimination coming through so far for the side of Runaway. They throw down the sound barrier, looking for a little bit more, and Stitch is just having free reign in the back line, dashes forward, finds Neko, Hyuk goes down off screen, and it seems like Runaway might have this be a pretty swift recap. 94% here for NC Foxes. They'll take control. They have the Transcendence to try to hold this one out, but they need to deny the flip from NC Foxes.
Yeah.
They do not want another double overtime scenario.
There's a lot of tools that Foxes have if they can get Kino into good position, but notably Cox and Haksal held onto those ultimates. They got the picks without it because of that backline Stitch play you were talking about, the Tracer there with the Pulse Bomb to kill Pumple. Okay, so much is going to come down to these support ultimates. Let's see how they
going
use.
low, has to drop in the sound barrier, 48 HP before he gets that shielding to come through, and keeps the team in the fight here for the moment. Kino as well, Tac Visor is ready, wants to wait out this Transcendence, but Haksal comes dashing through and just gets rid of the Soldier 76. Now he'll draw out the Dragon Blade, chasing in, has both supports cornered and will take down Neko, takes down Hyuk, gets rid of Sasson, and Haksal is just putting on a clinic with the Genji, gets the melee into Sominsu, and this could be it. There you go, it ticks down, and Runaway will close out Ilios.
Very patient play there by Haksal, and the target was Kino. They knew he had the Tac Visor available, and they basically put everything on making sure he was not going to be able to get value out of the ultimate. It was Janu in his space with the defense matrix. We saw Haksal go in for the dash kill there. Held Dragon Blade until he was sure he'd have a better angle because Transcendence was used, so he knew he wasn't going to have the pairing there. And then he just had that perfect angle right afterwards, got the dash resets, and 2 for 2, Haksal is putting on a clinic, as you say, with this Genji. This is the Runaway that people have been waiting to see all season long. We didn't see it in the early parts of the season, but it's finally now materialized, and they're going to take this first map. For the Foxes, their most picked map by far, and one of 2 maps they've picked on Hybrid is King's Row. Will they want to save it for dire straits game 7? I don't think so here. I think they will lock that one in now as their map choice.
Yeah, try to go for that, get a momentum shift, put a win on the board, tie things up, and deny Runaway from just being 2-0 up in this best of 7. See what it's going to be. I have to agree, I think King's Row is going to be the most likely, but maybe they try to throw a curveball, and it's actually going to be Numbani coming out, Wolf.
Okay, one of the highly picked maps for Runaway, their most picked hybrid of the season. So again, I think the best preparation to the best of 7 like this is to train your opponent's map, and I think that is what we are seeing coming out from the Fox, is they'll have that King's Row pick available for later. We'll see how they go on this one. This is by far the Runaway's best map type. It is their best win rate currently. Same for the Foxes, though. It's just that Runaway has a better win rate currently. So this is a tense moment now for the Foxes where they pick this kind of snipe map pick that feels anti-Runaway. And I think it's going to be about that soldier play. Remember the long-range hit scan we see, especially on defense here. It's going to be up to Kino to make that soldier work here. I don't think this is going to be a Torbjorn defense from the Foxes.
Yeah, you want to try to trade a win back here in your favor from the side of the NC Foxes. Put one on the board, deny that momentum away from Runaway, and just try to elongate this series so you don't have to worry about those reverse sweep scenarios to come through to try to qualify for the final. Let's see if they can go ahead and pick one up. Numbani, their map choice, a good one for Runaway. We'll see who comes out on top as we load in for map number 2.
I get it.
All right, Runaway fans feeling pretty damn good after that first map, especially after we saw that just steady spiking progression there from Hoxall. Started things off, poor Dragonblade didn't get any kills, picks up one with the next one, and then it just absolutely pops off at the end of Ilios to find the victory. So I think we can look forward to more plays like that as we move through this series.
So, we talked about last game, Hoxall's Dragonblades being the turning points, and that's always how it's going to be. Builds them faster than most because his left-click accuracy is just so fantastic. On defense, though, if you mess up the first engage, your comp doesn't have much longevity with the Genji. It does have much more with, say, a soldier. Diana will give him a little bit of added flair, and he will be able to use, of course, his nano boost to make those Dragon Blades better. Also can empower Tizzy on the defense here, so there's a lot of tools to make those fights last longer. But I feel like this defensive style is becoming a thing of the past. Runaway is one of the best teams in the world at it. Let's see if they can make it happen.
I'm just glad that the Torbjorn start is becoming a thing of the past
yes.
as well, so we don't have that one coming through for this defensive start from Runaway here on Numbani. NC Fox is going to be on the attack, or running Kino on that soldier yet again. See if he can have any more success this time around, because we didn't really see those tac visors coming through from him.
Okay, they do grab this high ground here with Sun Min Soo.
Have to jump out of there, but actually it's Tizzy who's launching himself in there. They find the kill in onto Kino, find Neko as well, and that should just be the shutdown on the initial push from the side of the NC Foxes, who are kiting back, trying to regroup.
Fantastic biotic grenade there, too.
Yep, pulling all that healing in to just build up Yuck.
Cox, fantastic play on this Ana, and already nearly at that nano boost, which can buy almost infinity time with Tizzy here on the Winston. I'm surprised we don't see Sun Min Soo on the Doomfist against this with Kino switching over the Tracer. I feel like that might suit them better, but they're just trying to gain control of this high ground. Very difficult, though, with this excellent dive from Runaway.
Kino, he has to say goodbyes. He takes a little bit of a trip off of the cliff there. Hoxall going to come up with a double kill on both supports at the same time off screen. And yet again, NC Fox is going to get shut down as Runaway are going to be getting hungry for that full hold here on to point A. Not even a tick coming through yet.
Yeah, the MO here for NC Foxes seems to be sneaking Aikino onto the high ground where they can fire pot shots on the low ground, but Runaway's running a dive comp, and 2 for 2, he's tried it, he's been spotted and been dove upon and killed. I think they might need to take a different approach here. Aikino's only at 50% of the tac visor at the moment.
Yet again, Fox is coming through, but Hoxall draws out the Dragon Blade. He's in the back line. He gets rid of Yuck. They get rid of Neko as well, who is freshly swapped over onto that Ana. Pop out onto the mech, and Foxes just cannot get a break at all. Sassen's going to have to jump off. Will not get taken down by those shurikens at the end, but so much delay, so much stagger coming through from this D.Va pickoff that it's just, there goes 15 more seconds off your time bank.
And NC Foxes have no real opening ults. They can try to use the self-destruct, but it's all, again, based on getting Kino onto the high ground. 3 for 3 times he's died now on approach here, and they have so much time they could buy with this Nano. Look at this.
Yeah, that's going to be the boost coming through onto Tizzy, who now has that Primal Rage, and everybody is just in the corner. He's just smacking them all around. Jumps up into the air, keeps himself safe from the explosions going off, and is just smacking Kino all the way back towards the spawn. Self-destruct from Sawson will find a kill in onto Cox, and he actually follows up with one in onto Haksal, but they haven't gotten anything moving on the point yet. We're down in under a minute and a half, and that first tick still has not come through.
Runaway did put all their eggs into the basket in that choke point, though. I wonder if they'll be able to recontest. Stitch is going to have to buy time.
Somebody is contesting onto the point right now. They get halted just past those 2 ticks, 84% here. Gonna go upward, but the rest of the team is pouring through here from the side of Runaway. Pulse bomb off screen, finds the kill in onto Yuck, but they need so much more than that. With Stitch and Haksal going down, Bumper following suit, seems like NC Foxes will be able to get this cap inevitably here onto point A. This after a little bit more delay from Johnny.
I think it's a pretty fantastic position for Runaway regardless. They bought a lot of time. NC Foxes make it happen on their 4th attempt there as Tizzy gets the Nano, fails to get any picks, and then Pulse Bomb did so much damage. We didn't really talk about it. The Pulse Bomb from Summitsu in that choke point did a lot of damage, and then the Nanos that we saw from Neko were just more successful there overall. But still, as you mentioned, not a great time bank. They bought a lot of time here. So Runaway can still be pretty happy about the situation. Not burning all their ultimates either. Look, Haksal about to have a Dragon Blade for contention here on point B.
See if you can find the openings. Cox gonna be going bloodthirsty there. That Zenyatta finds a kill in onto Neko. Kino's gonna go down as well. Haksal tries to get himself out safely. Has that health pack at least to kite back to. And now has the backup coming through from Jano. This is gonna be Pumple investing into the Primal Rage, however. So it seems like he wants to go ahead and try to get this payload moving right here, right now. But still not having too much success. It's been stopped off right just before this corner. So interesting investment, and now Haksal with that ultimate gone, he's gonna go ahead and draws out the Dragon Blade. He gets taken down by Kino, who has that attack visor ready to go. Summonsu dashing forward, gets rid of Bumper, has the Pulse Bomb, wants to hold on to it. No, actually tosses it out, but goes wide, doesn't find the kill on the Cox, but they'll get him in the end all the same. Foxes up with multiple kills, but still have not gotten that payload moving quite yet. The clock has been draining down. It's under 2 minutes left. Seems like they have gained some space for themselves and should be able to start inching forward.
Sasha really splitting up the team there. Very nicely done, kind of dropping the coordination for Runaway. They did get the pick onto Kino, but everything else in the backline fell apart after that. One self-destruct used here as well for Jano. A bit unfortunate because that's not going to be available for contention now.
Well, it's going to be double sound barrier coming through from both sides. Runaway looking to push forward and shove NC Foxes all the way back, but Haksal, he's going to get taken out by Pumple, who has that Nano boost coming through, so too much damage from the Tesla gun there. Gets rid of that pesky Genji. Still are at a bit of an impasse, however, as they try to get this payload over the line. It's going to be 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. Right as Sawson gets popped out of the mech. We'll see if they still want to keep pushing forward. But it seems like they'll just go ahead and get it, actually, with these kills coming through onto Tizzy.
Yeah, Haksal died early in that fight, and then the problem really was that there was just so many issues there on the side of Runaway in terms of delay tactics. Tizzy didn't get much with his Primal Rage. It wasn't paired with a Nano this time. And now Summonsu's going to try to bait out a recall here, which he's done so well tonight against Stitch. And they just get a free push around the corner. As, just the lack of Janu's self-destruct was really painful there for Runaway.
Forward coming through from Tizzy. They want to stop this from rounding the final corner. Runaway a few ultimates to work with here. Stitch getting hit up by that biotic grenade will go ahead and force out on the recall. Throws in that pulse bomb, gets a bit of damage in onto Pumple, but it's not enough to finish him off, and now he's got that Primal Rage. He's just going to say, screw it, I'll just pop this one out. Cox pushes forward with the Transcendence to keep everybody alive, healthy, and into the fight. But now Nano Boost is going to be coming down from the side of the boxes. They want to take this to them. They want to take the victory here. Sleep Dart connected in onto Haksal with that Tac Visor coming through, and they will cut him down. Kino helping to pick up multiple kills. Pulse Bomb got rid of Cox. Jano taken out. It's all just Bumper, but he is dead. And NC Fox is going to gain so much distance at this final stretch.
Fantastic usage of ultimates there. The Nano onto Pumple right after his Primal Rage expired. Kino with Attack Visor. Sleep coordination there as well. And now Summonsu's is looking for picks on the Stitch. Again, forcing a recall. Fantastic position now for the Foxes to close it out.
3.27 meters remaining with a minute on the clock. NC Foxes have a sound barrier. There's no support ultimates available from the side of Runaway, and they nearly have a nano boost as well, so they should be able to close this. You would have to think. Hawksall finding a kill onto Neko, however,
That's
does throw
huge.
a bit of a wrench in their plan.
Yeah, because now Pumple's not going to have that nano. He has the primal, but that's it.
This could end up being a late push, perhaps in overtime. So Mitsu getting jumped on, has the recall, takes himself back into safety. He'll just be exiting with the rest of his team, but a nice delay comes through. Good stagger onto Hyuk. With just 34 seconds remaining, he's going to have to sprint his way back in onto this payload, and we might just have an all-out brawl, because you take a look at the number of ultimates on both sides. Hawksall nearly with the Dragon Blade as well.
Most important missing ult is Pumple. They had such great coordination for the last fight, but not for this one. And so he used it wastefully there as the picks came through. Nano's going to help him build it, but so much of an advantage for Runaway.
And he leaps in the sound barrier to answer immediately from the side of Runaway. Answered by NC Fox as they try to push back through. Pulse Bomb gets thrown out by Mitsu, but it goes wide. Doesn't find anything, and Hawksall has the Dragon Blade drawn out. Finds a kill in onto Kino. Looking for a little bit more. The Shurikens going through onto Neko, but in the meantime, nobody is in onto that payload. So they'll just go ahead and pull that one out.
Yeah, C9, indeed. I feel like there was a really nice shimmer of brilliance for Neko, who was singing his own praises on the Zenyatta, even being called a megalomaniac there by Runaway, saying, oh, he thinks he's so wonderful, he's so great on the Zenyatta, but his Ana was fantastic. He got much more done than Cox did in terms of nano usage there. And the Winston play minus Pumple's last Primal Rage was very, very good. And they pushed it to the end here, but they did not get completion. And, you know, even had they gotten completion with no time bank, it's not time to celebrate for the Foxes yet. Because
that is so close.
Yeah, and the Foxes, you know, they had a really rough time on attack, but their map choice here was definitely for Kino on the defense. This is why they chose this map. They want to play against the aggressive dive using the long-range hit scan. That's the whole game plan here. Hyuk's going to make this easier with the Sombra to shut down the mobility of both Hawksall and Stitch. Stitch may actually run this McCree. We'll see.
Still has about 40 seconds to swap things out. I think we're going to be seeing the swap back over, however,
probably
to that Tracer.
But this is where the Foxes need to shine. This is where they need to repeat, you know, what happened to them. They need to burn down the time bank of Runaway to make this map choice worth it. And, you know, it's a pretty scary thought for the Foxes. If they can't do this, potentially they will struggle on Eichenwald as well against the comp of Runaway. So this is where they need to make their stand. I think this is going to really set the pace and set the momentum in this series. Anything can happen on Control, but if you struggle on your map pick with this long-range hit scan against Dive, which is why you chose it, you're going to feel pretty bad going into Game 3.
Yeah, for sure. Neko especially here on this defense is going to have to be very safe. The sole support alive. You know, going to be having a bit of a half support role there with the Biotic Field to try to keep people in the fight. But if Neko goes down, it could be a very swift take onto point A for Runaway.
Really like his positioning, though. Going to be very difficult for the backline dive to reach him.
I mean, you say that, but they're just going to go straight up the street, find the hit in onto Kino, take him down. They do sacrifice Cox in the meantime for this one, but Neko's cornered. He's going to get taken out as Tizzy just zaps him to death, and it looks like Sasson might be suffering a similar fate as he gets popped out of that neck. Now with those kills coming through, Runaway just going to be having that back cap coming through in the meantime. It's ticking up, already have the second one to hit, and they might just be able to finish it off right here, right now as Pumple goes down.
Great positioning, great start for the Foxes, but the dive was better. Runaway understand this comp. It's why they're running this. It's why they're not running the long-range hit scan right now, and gotta feel really terrible right now if you're a Foxes fan or a Foxes player. This should be a huge blow to mentality, knowing that your entire setup was thwarted in a matter of 20 seconds.
See, I do kind of agree with you. I like that positioning, but when you're going up against the dive that is Stitch and Hawksall, segregating yourself from half of your team that needs to be there to protect you as the sole support is so very risky. And Runaway just goes in, they find them, they punish them immediately, and then there's nothing that the Foxes could do from there on out. So it's good stuff by Runaway, good just call to go straight in up the street and say, you know, the point be damned, we want to get these kills, and then the point will come through afterward. Sound barrier invested from Runaway in the meantime, though, as Hawksall has the Dragon Blade, but doesn't want to even have to invest it, just shoves Hyuk back around the street as they keep that payload moving forward.
They're just getting totally dominated now by this dive from Runaway. Lack of coordination on defense. As you say, You know, I was talking about positioning, but in terms of defensive setups for the On, it was not there, and then they were super disjointed on this streets phase. This is going to be what looks like a free B capture. Runaway has an ult advantage to try to contest it as well. Not looking good for the Foxes right now.
Pulse Bomb comes through, finds the pop out there. Onto the mech. Now Halksall with the Dragon Blade yet again. He finds one, but tries to sprint up the wall, but just can't get there fast enough. His tiny little hands can't carry him up quickly, so he goes down, but this is still a nice completion, a fantastic time for Runaway.
I mean,
with just shy of 6 minutes on the clock.
Hoxell's so happy with this. He's going to get the better respawn coming through from the new spawn room. Zacian wasted his self-destruct for a kill there. Now they still have the self-destruct advantage. Fantastic position for Runaway, who has such a large timing to just get this completion.
And nobody has noticed Sominsu so far on the staircase. Hoxell pushing forward, hasn't seen him. Pulse Bomb comes through, however, and despite all of that sneakiness, does not find the stick, does not find the kill. Transcendence going to be invested by Cox. Bumper nearly with another sound barrier ready to go. Runaway might be having to kite back, as NC Foxes want to stop them out here at this corner. Pumple invests that Primal Rage, finds a kill in on the Cox. They get rid of Bumper, no supports available for the side of Runaway, but they're still pushing forward. Stitch just firing into their back lines, finds that Pulse Bomb, no, does not get the stick, throws it straight past him in onto the ground, and will not be getting the kills as he gets taken down by those Helix rockets.
Toronto going to try to buy some amazing time here again. Doesn't look like it's going to occur in his favor.
Goodbye, John.
But this is just one hold of many that they will have to have, and this was without the Dragon Blade and the support ultimates together that Runaway will look to finish this one off with. I almost wonder if Neko should consider switching to the Ana. He was so successful on it against Hoxell just previously. We'll want to use the Transcendence first, of course, but I think it would be a great choice to remove the healing and also to potentially have those sleeps on the defense here and to have the nanos to buy time for Tizzy.
I mean, Runaway can do pretty much whatever they want at this point.
Certainly. It's going to be a miracle hold if Foxes are able to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, 15 meters is pretty much all that they need. The sound barrier is going to come through. They want to close things out right here, right now, and Hoxell does have a Dragon Blade ready.
Beat the Transcendence.
Has to wait for Neko. Have that one expire. Dashes through. Almost gets a kill in onto Sominsu, but he manages to stay alive, at least for the moment. Duck in the meantime, just firing away. Has to push forward to try to keep Bumble alive, but he goes down too quickly. They can't get it because he finds the kill. Sausage popped out of the mech, and NC Foxes suddenly do not have a tank line. It was way too late for that sound barrier to come through. And now they're just going to get picked off. Stitch, double Pulse Bomb, comes down, gets rid of Neko, gets rid of Kino, and they are just going to put them in the grave. Runaway pushing forward a couple more inches. There we go. They close out Nambani with plenty of time remaining in the bank, and now they're 2-0, halfway to closing out this best of
Chuck
7.
needed the sound barrier there. He needed to keep Pumple alive to get a Primal Rage. That needed to happen. It was his job because the Transcendence was already spent for Neko. It was the only way to keep Pumple alive, which was their only defensive setup. Zacian used his self-destruct much earlier, and so as a result, I mean, ult efficiency here on the side of Foxes has been pretty abysmal. I have to say, I don't know if Zacian on this D.Va is really his best strength for the team. I'd say his D.Va is comparable to Rhea's, but I'd like to see him play Doomfist, try to counter the dive in that way, and we're kind of passing the maps where that sort of tactic is really going to be effective. And we are going to have a break after this, so no tactical pause, of course, but they're going to have some time to discuss potential substitutes or role swaps here, because I think having Zacian on the D.Va is not really working out for the Foxes. They're missing that Genji factor, they're missing the Doomfist factor from Sominsu, and they're missing the Pharmacy factor when he's on that D.Va. The strengths that led this team here to defeat Luxury Watch Red twice is how they got here off the backs of that type of play, and without Rhea in the booth, and Zacian, when he's playing the D.Va, he can't bring that X factor, and I think that's what's really missing here.
Well, we'll see if there's going to be any swaps for the side of the NC Foxes. Runaway, in the meantime, going to be feeling pretty darn good about the start of this series. 2-0 up as we go into the potential first break, maybe even the last break, if they close this one out cleanly. We'll see if it's going to be a 4-0 or if NC will be able to put some maps on the board, encourage their fans, and gain some of that momentum back. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We are only at least halfway through this series. There could be plenty more Overwatch to come, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
에너지가 필요한 순간 핫식스와 함께 핫하게 즐겨라. 올여름 가장 핫한 리그 오버워치 핫식스 에이펙스.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are halfway through this series, halfway to a 4-0 by the hands of Runaway. We'll claim the first two maps, Ilios and Numbani, over NC Foxes. Momentum is on their side. They have those slick new jerseys, everything going well for them, audience backing them. Wolf, can the NC Foxes turn this one around?
It seems unlikely at this stage, man, and I'm worried going into this next map because you never want to pick Hanamura against Runaway. Runaway has also shown some good Horizon Lunar Colony games. That's NC Fox's other map pick here. I suppose we could go to Volskaya here if you really want to, again, put your eggs in the Kino basket on long-range hit scan. But no substitutes coming into this. We're sticking with the same roster. Rhea is still going to be on the bench. And on Sawson's first career game of Diva, he's in the booth. He's played a solid Diva so far, but we're missing that Genji play from him. We're missing the Pharmacy play. And what we're getting instead is just Kino playing the long-range Soldier and Sumin Su not on the Doomfist playing Tracer. Might see some Doomfist come out for the rest of this best of 7 to try to counter the Genji play. And I think that on Assault, that might be your best bet. Question is where they're taking us. I think Hanamura and Anubis are huge mistakes. I think Volskaya is your best option here based on the style we're seeing from the Foxes right now. Anubis has always been Oxal's best map. Oh, what a risky pick. They're going with it. Oxal has had incredible Dragon Blades here. His understanding of dash range on point B, the mega health pack underneath. They're going to have to run Sombra, I think, if they want to shut him down. This is such a risky pick. Most picked map from Runaway.
I mean, they went for the Numbani, where Runaway had the better record. They failed there. Now they're going for Temple of Anubis. Bold strategy here from the side of NC Foxes. No swap coming through. Rhea still on the bench, as you say. They can still wait if they lose Temple of Anubis. They have one more map. They could wait until then to pull the trigger on the swap.
Yeah,
I mean, then you're looking at reverse sweep territory.
Yeah, you really are. You know, putting Rhea in, he's going to have to win the rest of the series. Can't sub twice. Yeah. This could be a good map for Attack Widow. Kino showed some good Widow already. on map number 1.
All right, well, we'll see if that's going to be the X factor here for them to pick up a victory. Temple of Anubis, our third map. Runaway, can they get one step closer to that grand final, or will NC Foxes hold them in their tracks? Let's find out.
I get it.
What in the... Could somebody clip that and send... I don't know what the hell just happened.
I don't know if they can hear it as well as you and I heard it in the stream. But
I mean...
I forgot these headsets were noise canceling for a second.
I almost said a naughty word after that happened, Wolf.
Yeah, that was definitely pretty intense. I don't think that was the official cheerleader for the Runaway side.
It definitely wasn't. It's usually that guy, so unless something very drastic happened to his voice since the start of Nembani, it was certainly somebody else who was feeling so very enthused.
I think she hijacked it. I think she stole it.
Yeah, I think she was trying to beat him to the punch. That's why she just came out swinging.
All right, let's look at this comp. Okay, it's defense for the Foxes, so they're going to try to take what it looks like this left high ground kind of defensive position. We've seen this a lot, anti-dive, very powerful. But remember, the counter to this has always been to Hail Mary the point, run past that high ground side after the first push. And NC Foxes will need to be ready for that. They are running the Sombra, so can shut down a lot of that mobility. Didn't think this was going to be real, though.
All right.
Okay, wow, it's going to be
Stitch.
And it's going to be Cox's Reaper we've seen so many times.
All right, not even on the second point. He's going to be starting things off with this, trying to shatter those tanks, and already he's getting a nice couple of hits in onto Bumble, who has to leap out. Kino as well going to be dashing through to try to get back over onto the point and get healed up, but Kino's been taken down in the meantime, and Cox is just fearlessly pushing forward, getting all of that HP back from the lifesteal. And with Pumple going down, so Minsu, the delay tactics are not really available from the side of NC Foxes, and it seems like Runaway are just going to be having success on their major map pick. Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? Cox at 64% of an ultimate. Free reign. They were not ready for this. The Foxes were not. Got take busted to hell, and I mean, this is a strategy we've seen a lot. You know, we've seen this from Panthera, and we saw this from Lunatic Kai. Luffy playing perhaps some of the best Reaper we've seen in the Season 3 finals. Kino making some swaps here will end up on the Mei at the end of the day here to try to shut down this initial push. But we're looking down the barrel of a potential Death Blossom here very shortly.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the more swift ones that we've seen. Not going to be the Talon composition, though. Not going to be accompanied by the EMP. Neko is going to be the one available with that, however. Commence Tress throw in that pulse bomb. Not going to be finding anything with that explosion. It's going to be a bit of a trade coming through. Assassin goes ahead, picks up multiple kills, but now Hawksall finds one, looking for a little bit more. Does have that Dragon Blade ready to go. Doesn't get the kill in.
No way.
At the end, but I mean, they're already ticking up. Finds the dash through, gets rid of Yuck, still has that Dragon Blade ready to go, but he's so low, has to dash in underneath the bridge, trying to get himself that health pack, get back into the fight. Sound Barrier comes through, keeps him alive. He finds the hits in on the Neko, takes him down, looking for a little bit more. Doesn't want to go near Kino as well, though. We'll go ahead, reach up onto the high ground, gets back in onto the point, but Runaway are still just going to keep things moving. Sound Barrier invested from the side of the NC Foxes, but it's not really gaining them anything. They're just streaming back in one after the other. Kino into the ice block. The Primal Rage is there to try to smack him off. Doesn't quite get it. He still has the delay coming through as it's only 73%, but the kills are still just there for Runaway, who just takes them down one after the other over and over again. And it seems like Runaway should be able to close out this war of attrition. Hack in onto Cox, but that doesn't matter. He doesn't need anything other than these two shotguns that he is just firing away with. Blossom comes down, finds the kill in on the Pumple. Blizzard will be thrown out, but the Sound Barrier is there to chew up all of that damage, and Runaway just force their way in. 5 minutes 24, as you say, to close it out there on their attack.
It's because they had such an old lead, but fantastic play by the Foxes to start things off. The hack coming through onto Jana with the freeze there. Wasn't able to escape. They got 3 picks. 3 picks. Only the Mac, of course, for John, who was able to remac the longer fight, but they eliminated his Mac and got 2 kills. Sasha picked up basically the triple there with good hacks coming out on the side of Neko, and the Death Blossom was fantastic, and then the Sound Barrier was perfectly timed by bumper so that we could see Cox heal up back to nearly full health, and Cox basically just tank busted the rest of that fight. Fantastic play from Runaway, and this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you not pick Anubis into Runaway. This is something that if Runaway advances to the finals, GC Busan will have probably on the front page of their notebook preparing for that best of 7 is we should probably avoid this one. I mean, it's not over yet, but that time bank is fantastic.
Oh boy. Do we get more variation here? Is going to be the question. As Stitch is hopping around with the Junkrat, but he's not pushing forward, so yeah, it seems like we will just have a swap.
See?
Janu's certainly not going to be playing Reaper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Runaway, the fan favorites tonight are definitely having a little bit of fun with this one. It was crazy to see how well Stitch played on the attack Widow. It was almost like he was a support. He made it so that no one could dive the side of Runaway once they got into the point, that slow-moving Reaper comp. Kino is going to play the attack Widow, but is that going to be the X factor that's going to get them such a time bank that they can actually double cap essentially like Runaway did? I don't know. And, you know, can he even play as well as Stitch just did is the bigger question. As we are going to see Neko, at least initially here, look to stick with the Sombra, which he's clearly been practicing quite a lot for this series, but it's just not had the impact he's been looking for. Okay, here we go.
There's not that many advantageous health packs really available on the point without having to go a little bit out of your way. Let's see how they're going to approach this one, though.
That's translocator as well, a little bit odd.
Pushing forward, we'll just go ahead and snap back.
He's dead already.
The kills coming through here from the side of Runaway. Now we're able to trade one back here onto Tizzy, however, does NC Foxes to try to get in. They got halfway towards that first tick. Still are being denied and gated out from the remaining members. Stitch goes low, however, they are able to chase through and take him down, and now it's just going to be Sassen and Pumple getting this cap rolling through. Nearly the second tick achieved as Janu comes in to keep the delay going. Goes back up into the air, tries to stay in the mech, but seems like he will get popped out at the end.
Right, doesn't have very many delay tactics. Nice attempt here by Cox to get the sleep kill. Janu will buy some time, but this is going to be a pretty fantastic time bank on the side of the Foxes here. Finally, this is going to be the beginning of the end.
Down one after the other. Stitch going back in, just trying to chew up as much time as he possibly can. But inevitably, that cap will come through, so just shy of 7 minutes is on the clock for NC Foxes as well, so very strong attack from them.
That was all Sashin and Kino. Kino threatening the members to try to attack Sashin. Sashin corralling them into the corners, getting the pick onto Haksal there, onto Stitch as well, and early picks on the supportsman. No support elements to buy time. Kino, hell-bent on sticking with this Widow, might just swap it after his ult expires.
We'll see. I think he might just give it one life, and if he gets taken down, then we'll see the swap coming through. For now, though, does still have that infosight ready to go. He's looking for a shot. Can't quite find it. Gets a little bit of a body shot into the Haksal, but the deflection comes through, and he just takes down Kino with his own bullet. Beautifully done. Now Haksal retreating back over, up onto the point. We'll see that EMP dropped in by Cox. Dragon Blade drawn out, finds one, gets the pop out onto Sauce, and they take him down. For that kill to follow up through in onto Neko. Quite get him. Seems like he'll be able to make it out with his life, at least for the moment, but the damage has been done. They have been halted, and already NC Fox is looking to have less of a time bank than Runaway.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go until that is their reality. Fantastic Dragon Blade paired with the EMP coming in. Kino will make the switch to Reaper to try to do that tank busting style. It's going to be Taolin, though, with the commitment of the EMP here for Neko. He's probably going to have at least 2 of those before that.
Threw that in. Doesn't find anything, though. Stitch not going to be coming up with the kills. Dashes back into the spawn room, gets himself healed up. But now it's going to be NC Foxes looking for the fight. They throw around the sound barrier. Neko in with the EMP. So far, the picks have not come through. Runaway are still holding on. They're still maintaining control over the point for the moment. Now the self-destruct tossed in by Janu, looking for a pick. Not going to be finding anything, but they are able to take down Kino. They get rid of Neko. The DPS is just absolutely being shattered from the side of the NC Foxes.
I love this Stitch switch to the Junkrat as well. It's such a great tool against a comp that needs time to build up. Because if you have this big of a time bank, it works out really well. You build up to that Death Blossom EMP combo, you have this large amount of ultimates, you have this time bank to do those eco pushes. The problem being that Runaway already has the better time bank. And so even though this comp is standard, we see it a lot, NC Fox looks like they just want to cut their loss and say, well, we need completion here. Maybe we'll get a better hold when we go into tiebreakers.
Cox going to go very aggressive, goes forward, drops down that EMP, and that's going to be Sominsu getting taken out by Stitch with that remote satchel charge. Kino following suit as well, just joining his brother in arms in the grave. They'll also be accompanied by Pumple, so yet again, Runaway going to be coming out with a fight, taking it to the NC Foxes and shoving them all the way back towards the spawn room.
All Cox, he hacked Kino there as well, preventing him from being able to use his Wraith Walk. He's even going to switch now to the McCree, not willing to deal with this any further. And, I mean, that's another ult loss. This is all the time spent. They were trying to make this talent comp work with. Neko's going to switch as well. But Runaway in fantastic position, even if somehow the Foxes make this next push a win. And they've got so much shorter of a time bank to work with.
Yep, Kino swapping over yet again. Goes through the McCree, gets taken down immediately by Hawksall, who follows up with a nice little stag kill in onto Hyuk. Tries to get the pop out onto Sasson. They will be able to do so. He's just going to get taken down. The bombs raining in by Stitch. Will find the kill. Honestly, I think you leave him to his own devices in that situation. Force him to do the swap. You lose out on whatever percentage he has, because you see he does have an ultimate available. So actually a bit of a misplay by Runaway in that instance.
It just doesn't feel like it even matters at this stage. This is such an outclassing. It's so different than what we saw in our previous semis. It just feels like the Foxes can't get their footing. They can't get it together here. The Runaway is just running circles around them quite literally here. As another EMP comes through, this should be a smash.
Yeah, they're just pushing forward, but actually it's going to be Foxes who are able to trade up. They find the kill in on the Hawksall. Pumper as well, and Janu getting popped out of the back as Pumper does have this nano boost thrown in. Gonna pop the Primal Rage. He's looking for the pick off there on the Stitch, but yeah, the trap comes down. Stitch stays alive for the moment, but Sasson is able to hound him down and find the kill. Pumper invests the sound barrier, but it only catches a couple members on the side of Runaway. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for them to hold on. Self-destruct, tossed out by Sasson, will get the remech, get back into the fight, but still, it's NC Foxes fighting for their first tick. They have not been able to get it. Riptire comes through, Hyuk goes down, Neko joining him.
John's still self-destruct.
They're still maintaining control.
Hey, actually doesn't use it here. Doesn't need it. They're going to hold on to that one. And Janu can just, I guess, try to kill himself or remag via left clicks here, which is what he's going to do because he's still holding on to that one. That was Fox's huge opportunity, and it still just all went awry because of the Riptire from Stitch. Stitch, very little game time played on this hero, popping it out here and controlling this defense with it.
Just ripping them apart. NC Foxes right now, only a few ultimates they have at their disposal. Hyuk is getting ready for that sound barrier, but still 35% shy onto that one. EMP going to be invested just to take down Neko. Cox pays for his life with that one, but I think he's going to be quite satisfied. In the meantime, the Deadeye will actually find the pick off onto Tizzy, which is a bit questionable.
A bit of a pipe dream to try to make that one work. It somehow happened.
Yeah, it does get the pick off there onto the Winston, and now NC Foxes are going to be pushing forward, trying to get that first tick to come through. Sound barrier to try to mitigate the damage from Hawksall's Dragon Blade. Gonna do wonders as he just slices at the wind. Won't be doing much of anything. As I say that, he dashes through, finds the kill in onto Kino, and has to get back out. And just like that, it seemed like NC Foxes had found a window, but Runaway still maintained control.
Hawksall just doing so much damage. He didn't get the big 5K that's going to be in a highlight reel, but he did a massive amount of damage. He also zoned out the Tracer or something.
And the sound barrier came out.
Got the sound barrier, zoned out Seominsu. So the fight that NC Foxes wanted to use their ultimates to take was always in disarray, despite the early picks there. And Runaway has an ult advantage. Again, Cox about to have another EMP, and it feels like the story has just been EMP, rinse, and repeat for Runaway, with Stitch just building up for Riptires for emergency situations.
Dear.
Again, here we go. Doesn't have the EMP though.
Hello, how are you? He's got it ready to go now. He's just going to go ahead and try to finish him off. Will get the kill, but yet again, Cox is just exchanging his life, but he is perfectly happy with that situation. In the meantime, Kino going over onto this Junkrat himself, trying to make something happen. Gets taken down by Hawksall, who is already nearly at another Dragon Blade, 70% on that one. And Runaway have dragged this timer down into the mud. 20 seconds remaining for NC Foxes, who desperately need to get this closeout and then win in overtime to stop Runaway from moving to match point.
This is really rough, man. They're going to have to make this happen right now. Kino on the Junkrat. This Riptire could ruin everything. Do they see it? I don't know if they do. It's coming from behind.
Yeah, he's trying to drop this one in.
Oh,
finds
great
his way
angle.
in and gets rid of Kino. An exchange there from Junkrat to Junkrat. Stitch just absolutely eliminates him, and all hell is broken loose. A double kill coming through from him as he gets Seominsu with that satchel charge. Gonna be looking for a little bit more. Sound barrier comes through from the NC Foxes. Hawksall with the Dragon Blade, holding on to it for the moment, looking for his window of opportunity. And it seems like he might just not even have to use it to get rid of the supports. Just finds the kill in onto Neko, cuts through Sauce and knocks him out of the mech, and he's going to get taken down. And that is going to be it. Runaway close out Anubis after NC Foxes foolishly pick it against them.
Yeah.
And now they are at match point in this semifinal, ready to advance to the grand final 8 days from today to square off against GC Busan.
I could get behind the Numani pick, but the Anubis, it was a mistake. And the coordination we saw there was much better from Runaway. When we saw GC Busan defeat Cloud9 Kongdu, it felt like, you know, going to that series, we looked at it and said, it looks like Cloud9 Kongdu's an S-tier team, right? They're such a big favorite. They're an Overwatch League team. And then GC Busan made a new tier, S+. Well, right now, this looks like Runaway's S, and NC Fox's look like a B. This is just utter domination. This is a dismantling. It's time for a tactical pause here.
I think you're being generous unless B stands for bad.
I mean, let's be real. The ideas here are good. The execution is poor. And we talked about Sashin on the Diva, meaning that he wasn't playing the other X-Factor roles here for the team. But I feel like what's really glaring in that last game was the self-destruct usage. We are seeing, looks like some keyboards disconnecting here. So Rhea is going to come in for Seomin Soo.
He's at least got a smile on his face, but is he going to be able to push that forward onto his team to try to encourage them and get their spirits up? Because their backs are against the wall. They're in the corner, and they need to pull off a reverse sweep.
Yeah, looks like we're just going to take a break, guys, and see if they can make this happen. We don't have much time to talk about it. We will when we return, though. So sit tight, and we'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
인류는 늘 시험에 들지. 갈등과 전쟁의 열기 속에서 인류는 진화한다. 모든 투쟁이 우리를 더 강하게 할지니. 쓰러지는 자는 잊혀질 것이고 일어서는 자의 이름은 영원토록 기억되리라.
형 맞을 준비 되어 있어. 그때 달려 어린이들을 저희 팀이 꼭 도와주도록 하는데. 심호흡하고. 동현아 조심해. 지금 동기가 크로스 보인다. 동현아 조심해. 너 숙제에서 이제 그러다 동현 살짝 맞는다고. 아, 동정이 때리 미인이 아니야. 우리 옛날 같았으면 바로 이거 방송 아니고 너 우리 연예맥카 안 했으면 바로 욕했다 동현이한테. 아, 무슨 소리야. 동정이 욕하니 뭐 미인이 아니고. 너한텐 했어. 그걸 인정하는데. 모니터가 How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes.
맥크리. 홀더 대신 맥크리. 자신에게 타이머 선수가 바로 꺼내 들었죠.
그래. 성향. 마음으로 같이
아니야, 용도
좀 더 잡아야 되거든요.
네?
하나 더.
하나 더.
나이스 하나.
나 못 살아.
잘했어요, 진짜. 진짜. 얼마 만이냐 이거. 이거 감동적. 두창이 했냐? 두창이 한번 찾았어요. 근데 나 진짜 이거 나 죽었다 해도 나 바로 뺑뺑이 하는데 비트소리 듣고 내가 오물 내가 딱 터지는 순간 이렇게 들어.
Better cry. I want better cry from cheer. Something like that.
I'm just fighting.
No. I'm fighting.
I'm just fighting.
Louder. Fighting. Imagine if Chip sing a song. I try so hard.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the finish line here for Runaway 3-0 currently over NC Foxes. Just need one more victory. Close out this best of 7 and advance into that grand final.
Yeah.
Next Saturday to face off against GC Busan. Get another run at closing out the season of Apex. They do not want to be runners-up yet again.
Well, this sub here, it's going to be a sub out of Seomin-soo, not Sashin. So this leads me to believe that Sashin will be moving into either that pharmacy comp that we saw him run very often, try to bait out Cox's hit scan. They talked about that in the opening interview. Or he wants to fight Dragonblade with Dragonblade. The worrisome thing about that is the support usage has been better on the side of Runaway, and as great as Sashin is on the Genji, and it was able to allow him to defeat Luxury Watch Red in that final series that got him here to the semifinals, the Dragonblades and the Genji play from Haksal have always been better. So you're running into Cox's amazing long-range DPS if you're trying to run the Far Mercy, as we move into now Escort, or you're trying to out-Genji, one of the best Genjis in the world. So, you know, it feels like a very lose-lose situation for the NC Foxes.
Sounds great.
They're on their last legs here. Doesn't feel very hopeful at the moment.
No, it does not. But with Pharmacy in mind, Dorado does make a heck of a lot of sense. So perhaps we will see that pulled out on the attack for the side of the NC Foxes as they make what could be their final map selection of this series. Not of the season. If they lose here, they do at least get to go play for that third place spot. But even then, that's against Cloud9 Kongbu.
Yeah, this just feels, man, like the end of the line. Runaway is in such fantastic position here. This would be the comeback of the century if this sub and this swap can make the difference here for this team that will largely go forgotten by most of the people who follow Apex. They will be lost from the history books, unlike GC Busan, the Royal Roader that made the finals.
Well, you say comeback of the century, but that's for Overwatch. Of course, you know, the Falcons did throw that 25-point lead in the Super Bowl, so that I think that's a pretty big one there.
Come on!
I know, and my team's the Patriots, so I had to throw that in your face. Let's go ahead, load in for what could be the final map of this series. Let's go to Dorado.
I get it.
No, you guys won't even know unless you like turned on a camera in the studio and recorded like what we just witnessed. No one will ever know.
I can't.
No Twitch clip.
Oh God. It's, I mean, you know, this is the world we live in. Now, this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah. Well, look.
And it's only gonna be crazier if Runaway makes it to that finals.
Would not actually be. Well, never mind. I was gonna say would not be able to stretch the possibility. We see the Roadhog here. It's a map that Roadhog's always been played on back when he was meta. One of his best maps, in fact, or players like Sleepy Bear, Taimu made a name for themselves in Apex, but. Looks like we may just see the old school Meta Athena style defense if Haksal wants to stick with the Zarya. Would not be a shocker. Triple tank with Stitch on the long range hit scan. We'll be able to deal with the farmers. No doubt they're expecting it because Runaway's got fantastic coaches. They've got Runner to do research.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking of that moment from 300 where he asks, like, Spartans, what is your profession? And they all cheer, and just splicing it with her yelling. But okay, here we go.
All right.
Time to get serious. This is going to be the attack from NC Foxes. Pharmacy, as expected, going to be coming out from Sasin, firing away those rockets from the sky.
So Haksal is going to try to build up as quickly as he can the Graviton Surge. You want to get this post arc here with this triple tank comp so you can actually force them into that choke point and lock them in. Very difficult to use against the Pharmercy, but if Stitch has anything to say about it, he's going to try to knock them out of the sky early. As you can see here, already building up very quickly that Deadeye.
Got 62% ready to go onto that one. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly Haksal can try to build up for that Graviton Surge. Stitch still firing away, but wasn't watching his back. It's taken down by Kino from behind. Now he's just going to have the run of this marketplace. Gets rid of Cox as well, so things looking better for NC Foxes. Rez will come through. Neko just bringing Humble back into the fray. Not before Rhea gets taken down, or rather out of the mech, so still going to be a bit of a punish. They're still dangerously close to getting this completion onto A very swiftly. Runaway will invest that sound barrier as they try to turn things around. The pulse bomb comes through from Kino, gets rid of Bumper, they get rid of Janu. And NC Foxes, with this swap, bringing in Rhea, seems to be making things work quite a bit better with this Pharmacy comp in the air.
Sashin doing a lot of damage there, but it was really the outclassing, I feel, of what we saw from Kino versus Stitch and Cox. Stitch going to make the swap. Haksal will probably swap after a Graviton, too valuable to switch before after building 93% of that. That's the part where Zarya is most strong, obviously, though, is in that fountain area. Not going to be so strong here. Could be able to get a corner Graviton as they swing around, but yeah, fantastic play out of Sashin, who can now hold on to this barrage, which wasn't even ready before the cap. And they have a res available. NC Fox is in fantastic position here in terms of ults. Here we go.
Haksal dropping down to low ground, throws in the Graviton Surge, but the sound barrier is there to answer from NC Foxes immediately to try to stay in the fight. Seems like they will be staying alive here for the moment, but not Kino. Can't say the same. He'll get taken down, but the rest from Neko will be bringing him right back into the fray. They try to fire back, but instantly the kills come through for Runaway. A 2-for-1 exchange as they lose out onto Cox, but trade up for Neko and Sasin's lives.
Trying to use the jump there, actually. Sashin gets hit his head on the roof, just forgetting where he was, I think, for a moment there. He could not escape. Haksal doing a ton of damage, may end up sticking with the Zarya after all if he can just continue to do this massive damage. Already halfway to another Graviton here.
Has been building these up very rapidly, as you might expect from Haksal. If he can do it with the Dragon Blade, he can do it with the Graviton Surge. And is also maintaining relatively high energy at the same time, so the damage output is also something to be feared from this Zarya.
They don't have dive to deal with Stitch, who's so safely positioned right now. They have to kill him.
I mean, well, the dive comes through in the form of Sasin. Now multiple members going to be chasing in as they try to get the pick off here onto him, but seems like he will be able to stay safe, but they didn't get rid of the majority of that tack visor, so not a whole lot of damage being dealt. No pickoffs coming through from that soldier, and in the meantime, Haksal has been taken down, so they're going to be holding the progress build-up on that Graviton Surge for the moment, and NC Foxes still are making very good time on the streets phase here on Dorado.
Didn't kill Stitch. Thought he may have, the way he switched targets there, almost felt like he thought he did, but he certainly did not. Stitch just shot him in the back there. That was his opportunity with the two squishies there, and no pressure on him to actually 1v1 Stitch. Grab that kill. Regardless, the ground picks will be enough, it looks like, to at least get them to contention here on point B. No Graviton Surge. Haksal has mostly been kind of useless here on this Zarya for the second point.
3 meters away. We'll be pushing forward. Cox there with the Transcendence, trying to keep everybody topped up into the choke point as they try to get back in onto this payload. Sasin's in the air, and he does have the barrage available, but he has to try to get Janu out of that mech first.
Teammates
for
on
fear of
cooldown.
that defense matrix to try to mitigate the damage coming through from the Pharah. You can see his team is getting picked off around him, so he's going to try to exit safely. As he will chase forward, finds at least half of the Pharmacy comp, getting rid of Neko. So NC Fox is finally going to be halted here for the moment, but a nice pulse bomb from Kino, just find an opening in onto Cox, but They still have to play back away from the payload for the moment.
Cox isn't the problem, it's Stitch who they need to be killing. The DPS duo, the Tracer and the Pharah, have to be able to kill the Soldier consistently to make this comp work, unless it's a Soldierless comp, which it is very much not. So they need to actually get that pick in order to make this worth it, and the positioning is so good. Again here for Stitch, he's inside. Barrage can't hit him from here.
Well, that's going to be double sound barrier coming through defense matrix. Does get thrown in. Sassen not going to get any damage and not going to be finding any pickoffs. And Jano will just take him down out of the sky. Looks like he's going to get punished, however, loses out on the mech, and the res will come through to bring Sassen back into the fight so he can at least hail down onto the members of Runaway with those rockets. Pulse bomb gets thrown in. Kino finds Stitch, picking him off. And they might just be able to get this completion here, but Tizzy is doing his damnedest with that Primal Rage to try to deny them and to try to keep this in contention.
So much time is burned here as well. Self-destructing good angles to actually slow this down.
Smoke's just above the entrance to the choke point, however, so not going to be getting any kills there for the side of Rhea. He's going to get popped out of the mech immediately as Hoxel comes pushing back through, nearly full energy. Just zaps him to death. They'll have the hold just 3 meters shy of this completion for NC Foxes. And now it's 1 minute and 13 seconds. As you said, the hold, the drain on this clock has been phenomenal by Runaway.
And the Foxes just been unable to deal with Stitch. He's in position where Sashin can't hit him.
Hoxel just showing off some nice little pathing.
Well, he's going to have a Graviton, but Stitch just stays inside where he can't be hit by Pharmacy, and then the defense matrix coming out from Jano have protected him against the Tracer play, so he's just basically unkillable. Even got the kill there onto Kino when he was post-bombed. The 1 second Jano was away. Stitch being phenomenal again on this Soldier tonight. And it just feels like desperation right now for the Foxes. Where's the angle? Where's the in? I'm just not seeing it.
Good rockets are coming through, threatening Bumper and Cox at the moment. Self-destruct up into the air, picks off Neko, and Hyuk has gone down as well. So both supports taken out with 30 seconds remaining on the clock. NC Foxes now in dire straits as Runaway seek to hold this just shy of point B.
Looks like they may very well be able to make it happen. Hoxel not even needing to switch off of this Zarya. Stitch has been the MVP. Bumper's got the sound barrier available. They have Transcendence. No Transcendence for Neko. Just recently switched to the Zenyatta. Sashin's holding on to this forever. He's going to try to take the slow play to get into the back lines here. Very risky, and the cart is moving back, but maybe it's their only shot. He's going to try to get that back barrage onto the back line.
Pumple's already invested in with that Primal Rage, and he's down to half HP. Sassen yet again going to be mitigated. Going to get taken down out of the sky. Sassen, he falls. 2 members down on the side of NC Foxes 3 as Rhea goes down. And it's not going to stop there. See Pumple getting taken out. That is going to be the hold. In front of point B, the rollback. It's too much for NC Foxes to deal with. Runaway will hold firmly, and now all they have to do is go 2 meters in front of point B, and they are in that grand final.
I mean, the plan was standard. It was solid, but the play from Runaway was better. Janu with 2 incredible defense matrix. He always had it ready for the barrage. Whenever he was missing, whenever Sashin was missing, that's when Janu knew I need to just play back because I know he's trying to make a play on the back line with that barrage. The whole idea, the whole comp is telegraphed. This strategy works well against teams like Luxury Watch Red, who do not like to run long-range hit scan, teams that like to avoid playing the Soldier, teams that want to run the Genji Tracer. And sure, Runaway has shown so much of that that it feels like, okay, yeah, this is a comp we can run, but Stitch is immediately already on the McCree. After the failed defense there, gets the high ground control of the Soldier, which was never, ever, ever even one time taken away from him. And the one time it was, but they lost 3 to do it, so it ended up being a win for Runaway in general. And so this comp, it feels like it's a comp that will get you 2 wins against Luxury Watch Red, but against a team like Runaway that's more coordinated, more experienced, it just simply isn't going to work. And NC Fox has had a good plan, a plan that worked for them throughout this season. And now it looks like Runaway wants to show them up, run the same comp. Okay, not exactly. At least trying to do some fan service on that. But yeah, let's see how this one all plays out, as now the Foxes are going to have an incredible defense. We talked about Genji versus Genji, and that is what we are going to see. If Hoxel can just do what everyone expects him to do, Runaway is going to that finals.
It really is looking that way, and I mean, the cheers going into the games have been incredible, Wolf. I can only anticipate what's going to happen if Runaway closes this one out right here, right now. Stitch not going to be starting things off on a good foot here. Will not make it onto the rooftop. Has a little bit of a smile about that, but immediately goes back into serious mode. as he wants to just be finding some heads to shoot off on the side of the NC Foxes.
Wants to shut down Sashin and obviously the support backline. That's the goal here. Good defensive positioning here for the Foxes. They're going to give up a lot of ground and a lot of time, but not willing to expose themselves against that Widow.
He's in a forward spot there, is Stitch. Get jumped on, has that Orb of Harmony, however, to keep him ticked back up to full HP, so we'll be safe here for the moment. And again, it's pushing forward here onto the overpass and try to get sightline in onto the marketplace, but he's going to get jumped on yet again, and this time it's too much pressure for him to survive. He gets taken out. He wants to stick through with the Widowmaker or have a fast swap for the moment. Runaway still making good time as they push forward into the marketplace, and yes, it will be that Tracer from Stitch.
Okay, switching off here to a more normal comp. Dragonblade's comparable at the moment. Great play out of Janu this entire game, by the way. He's just been fantastic at protecting the backline when these dives have come in. Really great play. Okay, so Kino's just looking for a pulse bomb drop down here. Doesn't have it ready yet.
Nice
predicts the recall.
There. Yes, he does. Goes back, but seems like he's not going to be winning out on that fight, at least for the moment. Transcendence comes down from Neko, keeping him in the fight. Kino finds a pulse bomb in, gets rid of two. Cox and Oxel both taken out. They follow up onto Stitch and Tizzy. That'll be a team wipe coming through as Janu is out of the mech.
One thing we
NC Foxes have a nice hold in the market.
We didn't touch on this when we talked about the sub, because we were talking about, you know, who's leaving and who's coming and what that could mean, but Kino has definitely been playing a better Tracer than Seomin Soo was in our first 3 maps, and that's definitely a huge swap that's making a large difference in terms of what plays he's been able to make. His predictions on Stitch's recalls, his pulse bomb angles, very fantastic. And already better time here for NC Foxes than what Runaway has been able to achieve.
Sassa's going to get jumped on. Dragonblade drawn out by Hawksaw on the other side of the fight. Cox investing that Transcendence, trying to keep them in and alive. And Hyuk is just going to counter with a sound barrier, but it's not in time to keep Neko in. He gets popped out of the mech. He gets taken down. Neko goes down as well. Now Dragonblade out from Sauce and finds one as they exchange Zenyatas. The Runaway are still the ones looking to close out this push. Forward now, unhindered, in towards point A. Want to get that completion. Need to have a pretty speedy street space at this point, given how much the clock has been drained down. Tizzy finds one. He's looking for another, just chasing Hyuk down, and he might just be able to get this kill. Hyuk goes in, Orb of Discord in onto him. He'll get taken down. Self-destruct, not going to be finding anything for Rhea, and that is going to be the completion here for Runaway. Now, 3 minutes 45 on the clock. Just a couple meters shy of point B is what they're aiming for, and then they are through to the grand final.
I mean, that was a really good defense from the Foxes based on Kino's play there, but better for Hawksaw in terms of Dragonblade damage. Bumper's survival there was better than what we saw from Puck, who nearly got away, but the Discord Orb caught him, as you say. Still a worse time maker for Runaway, but not too far to push, and this is already great picks for Stitch. Pumple had to get out of there, which means he's not there to help peel now.
Yep. And Stitch looking to win out the Tracer battle, chases in on the Kino, but he goes low. Kino's going to get that Mega Pack, and Stitch says, okay, you know what, you win this one. I'll just go ahead and peel back. Consider this one a bit of a stalemate, and instead we'll just take the life of Rhea. Will get taken down by Kino, who goes back in for seconds. Sasson has that Dragonblade drawn out, finds 2 already, gets rid of Bumper and Tizzy, which is buying crucial time for NC Foxes on this defense.
They have a very comparable ult situation as well, so this is certainly looking like it absolutely is possible that we do see the Foxes, you know, take at this defense. It felt impossible before. Okay, Kino looking for another pick, barely misses the kill there onto Cox.
Does not have it, would have been a fantastic opening because he doesn't have the Transcendence, and instead, Runaway, now with that pulse bomb down, are just going to throw in that sound barrier, but Cox is actually going to be the first one to fall, all the same. Cox now drawing out that Dragonblade, gets rid of Neko, sound barrier to answer from NC Foxes yet again, just trying to mitigate the damage from this Genji, and Oxel's just going to be slicing in air for the rest of that. Pushing back forward as Rhea goes low. Will get popped out of the mech, and Pumple's been taken down, so no tank line available for the NC Foxes, and the payload is finally going to get moving here for Runaway as they get ready to round these final corners.
Sashin is going to get picked right before he gets to use his Dragonblade. Didn't have support ultimates to use with it anyways. This is going to have to be a fantastic hold for the Foxes. They need to dash back to this point. Pumple is nearby. He's waiting. No one can die for Foxes, or that is going to be the end of it.
Rhea goes in, does have the self-destruct to get the remech to buy some space and time, but Neko has been taken out, as you say, just targeted out continuously by the members of Runaway. They finish him off. Cox throws down the Transcendent. Self-destruct out from Rhea. Isn't going to be finding anything, but he makes it back into the mech in time to rejoin the fight, to try to buy some time off of this time big from Runaway. because they still have a minute and 24 seconds left to
Janu
go.
with the juice.
They are so damn close. Janu comes up with a killing on a re-up and gets taken down by Neko at the same time. Stitch goes forward, gets rid of Yuck. Cox has been taken out. Support's dead on either side. Runaway just trying to win this war of attrition, and Hoxall is helping them do that. The sound barrier comes through. Pumple's been eliminated. Sussin goes down. That's going to be Kino. That's going to be the game. Runaway, they close it out a 4-0, and they will advance to the grand finals to face off against GC Busan. Runners-up in Season 2. They'll get a second attempt here in Season 4 to try to take home the trophy.
And the Foxes are just added to the collection of strong teams this team went through in order to make finals. They defeated MVP Space, X6, and GC Busan, they will rematch again in the grand finals on their run here. And NC Foxes, they looked 2 tiers below tonight. When we watched our last 4-0 in our semifinals, it looked like GC Busan had broken the limit for what we'd seen and what we've known to be true about Overwatch skill. But tonight, Runaway played what they played best. They had their players play their best roles. Janu played a fantastic diva. No one will ever question his diva again. And the Foxes, they played what won against Luxury Watch Red. They played their standard comps. But it turns out Runaway was just mechanically stronger tonight.
And you know, Neko in the Trash Talk video says, I think it's going to be a 4-0 tonight, but he was betting on the wrong side of the spectrum. Runaway able to close things out, and NC Foxes are sent packing home, at least until that third place match next week. But it's going to be a bittersweet one, and still an uphill battle for them as they have to try to beat Cloud9 Kongdu to claim third place spot in Apex Season 4.
They have potential for redemption, but when you're a new team, one who makes a run like this, I think you have to make finals to be remembered the way that Runaway made their Season 2 debut after promotion. It felt like a royal road for them, considering they were nearly relegated. They came back, they made finals in Season 2. Now in Season 4, they have another opportunity. But for the Foxes, it feels so bitter to lose like this because you know that you will likely be forgotten by fans internationally and domestically here as the crowd cheers. 95% of the people in this building, in this studio, wanted Runaway to win, and that they did with flying colors.
Yep, they got their wish. And you have to say, it was a pretty shared effort throughout the team. Every member on the side of Runaway having their moments, shining and helping bring this team to this success. So fantastic coordination from them, fantastic balance of power for the members of Runaway. They can feel good about this victory, a 4-0 to go through into that grand final and play against GC Busan, who they have already claimed a victory against earlier on in this season.
Well, this is such a fantastic finals that we have now. You have Royal Roaders versus the fan favorite, the team that struggled in Season 3, but they are back in full form, the Season 2 form. We're seeing Hoxall building those Dragon Blades. Stitch has leveled up his Tracer. It's fantastic. And even if there's some meta shifts between now and 8 days where the final comes through, they even have players like Kaiser on the bench.
Here we go. I imagine this is going to be, just the shutdown onto the healers.
Incredible.
Hoxall.
His kill on the Sashin was almost the most impressive of all, as he just casually picks up the kill on the Suminsu there at the end. You know, the thing that was said in the Trash Talk interview of, we love to watch our teams lose momentum, we love to watch them lose control in the booth. Cox, he's had problems with that in the past, he had it in Season 2, but I think they got to feel that today as game by game, the Foxes fell apart.
Yep, they really did. Back and forth on Ilios, and Mbani so close to that completion, but from there, Temple of Anubis, just a big mistake, you'd have to say, selecting that map.
A huge risk, did not pay off. My MVP for tonight is honestly going to be Hoxall. I think he played fantastic, and I think Janu would be a close second. The protection of his DPSs against both Kino and Suminsu was absolutely fantastic. Not to mention his protection against Sashin there at the end, denying 2 rocket barrages.
Look at that nice little cleanup job there by Papa Runner, getting his team's stuff out of the booth. But it's time for our interview, so we're going to go ahead and throw over to the translation so we can hear from the winning team of Runaway.
Okay, there was a fierce battle. And Runaway takes the win 4-0. We're sitting down with Hoxall of Runaway. Hello? Hello.
드디어 두 번째
Runaway finally going into the second finals.
이후에 진짜 많이 꿈에 그리셨을 것 같은데 오늘
You must be really happy right now.
솔직히
Honestly,
어려울 것 같았는데
I thought it would be harder,
그래서 좀 당황을 했어요.
but it was really easy.
나올 줄은 몰랐네요.
그런데 쉽게 이겨서
So yeah, it was an easy game.
네, 진짜 멋있는 것 같아요.
Yeah, that was a really cool match.
러너웨이 팀이 항상 질듯 말듯 하면서
Runaway
경기 제조기라는
always like looking like they're gonna lose or win.
경기력의 근원이 어디서 솟아오르는
Where do you think the fundamental secret to win was? You know, since I'm good at Genji,
겐지가 좀 잘해서 그런 것 같아요.
I think Genji was actually the answer to the victory.
저만 잘해서
Like I feel like I was the only good one.
평탄하죠. 근데 제가 좀 특출나게 잘하니까
I was really exceptionally good today. I feel like
자신감.
you're full of confidence.
그리고
So very modest.
쟁탈전 2라운드 때
In the second set,
힐러랑 탱커가 궁극기가 다 있는 상태에서도
like the enemy healer and the tanker had the ult, and you still went in and killed 5 of them. Do you remember that? I kind of don't remember actually.
그거 보고서
Well, looking at that,
되게 많이 그러니까 학살 선수가 항상 이렇게 억누르고 있다가 이렇게
like it almost was like
근데
you suppressing all this like explosive power and just releasing it at once.
그래서 많은 언급이 있었는데 그 5명 들어갔을 때 이후에
So after you went in and killed 5 of them,
기다린 적이 아마 있었어요. 그런 침착함이 그동안 무슨 변화가 있었던 건지 한번 말씀해 주시겠어요?
일단 국수님의 빠따가 좀 아팠어요.
first of all, Cox was really painful. Cox.
빠따가 두려워서 약간 기다리는 건가요?
So I was kind of waiting for Cox to die.
다른 심정의 변화는 없었고요.
So no other change in emotions or anything.
그리고 솔직히 겐지를 잘하는 선수들이 에이펙스에 좀 많잖아요.
So you see, you know, there are a lot of good Genji players in Apex,
가장 유명한데 그
and
다른 겐지 선수들
above everyone else, you're the most famous one by far.
일단 뭐 피지컬부터가 달라서
I feel like just I'm superior in mechanics actually.
그리고 또 피지컬.
And any other reason?
팀분들이 다 잘해서
I feel like the rest of the team are really good and they're really instrumental to the victory as well.
보니까 겐지랑 같이
네, 알겠습니다. 오늘 승리로 인해서 승격 팀들의 반란은 어느 정도 제지를 시켰어요.
From today's victory,
지금 결승에서 만날 GC 부산.
you will be playing against GC Busan.
1, 2, 3등을 전부 다 잡았는데
GC Busan like obliterating everyone. How do you think the match is gonna go?
시즌 1, 2, 3등
Sorry,
우리 못 이길 것 같아요.
I don't think they can beat us actually. Just simply speaking.
부산이 전 시즌 1, 2, 3등을 이겼는데 러너웨이는 못 이겼죠.
Even though GC Busan is like having a blast right now, I don't think they can beat us.
그래도 시즌 2 때
Season 2,
잡았었던 팀을 완전 그냥 억눌려 버렸었는데 상관없다 이거.
so you don't care about GC Busan? Yeah, I don't care.
그리고 GC 부산 팀의 프로피 선수가 완전 복수하려고 이를 갈고
GC
있는데
Busan's Prophet is really looking for the revenge match against you.
프로피 선수 트레이서 유충인보다 잘하나?
I don't really think his tracer is that exceptional.
기대해 보겠습니다.
Okay, we'll look forward to it.
그럼 이제 마지막으로
Last of all,
한 번의 결승 무대를 기다리고 있을 팬분들께
would you like to say a few words to your fans who are looking forward to the finals?
시즌은 저번 시즌처럼 아깝게 지진 않고 쉽게 이기겠습니다.
This season, we're not gonna lose like the previous one. We're gonna win easy.
성적 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다.
Okay, we'll look forward to your future.
정말 누구도 정의할 수 없었던 반전의 제왕 러너웨이 팀입니다.
Okay, Runaway once again rising to the top.
재현해 볼 수 있을지 기대해 봅니다.
Are they going to make it? Are they going to beat GT Busan? Okay, that's the end of the interview. We'll throw it back to the caster.
Thank you very much, Andy, for the translation, and that is the question indeed that we are going to be waiting to answer. But of course, we still have to wait a little bit longer for that final. Wolf not going to be able to answer it yet.
Nope, not yet, but we're getting so very close. The final will be, of course, next Saturday, so 8 days away. The two 4-0 teams, last time they met, went to that fifth and final set, the 3-2 victory on the side of Runaway. Very fantastic series we have set up. Again, the Royal Roaders versus the you know, the Season 2 runners-up that made such a splash this season. So you guys can go check out the ticketlink.co.kr. I think if you type /global on the end of that, you'll get the English site. Tickets are still available, and they will go out again at 12 p.m. if you come to the venue, I believe. So Kintex 2, Hall 9A in Ilsan. You want to go to Daewoo Station in Korea if you want to go down there. It's a bit of a trek if you live in Seoul. But, yeah, you've got some time if you're abroad. Maybe if you live nearby, you want to take a quick plane over to Korea. Or if you don't, whatever, it doesn't matter. But buy your ticket and get over here.
Take that like 18-hour flight from South America or wherever you're watching from.
We
don't ask questions. We don't discriminate. Everyone is welcome at this final.
This could be the very best Overwatch final we have this year. It's going to be tough to top last season's final, but the story is set, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty fantastic here. GC Busan have looked so very dominant. I mean, 4-0 over Cloud9 Kongdu is just the least expected result. I think, you know, even more so than beating Lunatic High twice. And now they're in the grand final. The Royal Roaders, they want to complete the task. They want to check off every little box on their to-do list and walk away with that Apex Season 4 title. Runaway, though, second crack at it 2 seasons later.
It's incredible that this is our finals. When we had teams coming in like Cloud9 Kongdu, we had LW Red with their debut Apex season. We had Afrika Freaks Blue, Luxury Watch Blue dropped out of the tournament. Like, no one really could have predicted this. Now, before that finals, we will have the third place match. It will be in this studio on Tuesday. You go to the same ticket link site if you want to get tickets for it. It will be here on Tuesday, same time, same place. So a bit of a redemption story for both of these teams. Cloud9 Kongdu are the big favorites, but NC Fox, after their destruction today, they're certainly going to practice hard for that one.
Yeah, we'll see how that one's going to go. NC Fox is looking just absolutely smashed by Runaway, not able to step up to the plate. So I expect Cloud9 Kongdu, despite the loss to GC Busan, to still have the upper hand, but perhaps NC Foxes, maybe they'll start things off, you know, with Rhea on the roster from the get-go, have either Suminsu or Sasin sitting on the bench and try to go from there. I think that that's likely going to be the approach. I think that they kind of let this go on for a little bit too long here today, and it did help lead to that as we flip back over to us, not the Apex challengers.
That's
I think that they're going to do that to try to pick up a victory and get that third place spot.
Certainly. Apex Challengers is broadcast on Twitch, by the way, in Korean, if you guys want to check it out. I know it gets posted to the subreddit a lot. It's played on the live patch, so if you're interested to see how Korean teams are playing with the new Mercy Res and the new Diva and things like that, you can check it out there. I think it's on the OGN Overwatch channel there, but it's obviously going to be, if you go to Twitch on Overwatch, you can find it. But, you know, there's going to be challengers on, so if you can't wait until that third place match of the finals, then definitely do go ahead and check that out, because it's very exciting live patch play.
Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be, you know, 8 days of pent-up excitedness for me, just getting ready to see who is going to be taking home the championship here, because it's such a fantastic story. Runaway getting a second crack at it, you know, who is going to win? That is the big question. Yeah. I mean, there's a bigger question, and that's, you know, when and where can I buy one of those new Runaway jerseys, because I really want to get my hands on that. So we're actually going to, we should inquire about that. We're going to ask and see if that's going to go on sale. And we'll let you guys know if that's going to be the case, and keep your eyes open for it. So hopefully that happens.
I'm going to ask about the GC Busan jackets as well, because they look pretty fly too.
Yeah, you know, I would definitely, I'm not a biased caster, so I definitely need one from each of the finalist teams in order to show the utmost amount of support for them. So we will definitely have to inquire about getting both a Runaway jersey and a GC Busan jacket, so we are completely unbiased.
Yeah. I want to get like an MVP Space jacket, though, and a Flash Lux jacket, a Luxury Watch Red jacket.
Okay, you lost me a Flash Lux jacket. I'm not sure about that one. That's a bridge too far, Wolf. I don't know. But all right, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have our finalists set, GC Busan versus Runaway 8 days from now. But in the meantime, we will be having that third place matchup. So be ready to tune in back here. Same place, same time. For that, we'll see who takes away third place, Cloud9 Kongdu or NC Foxes. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you then.